Hello, folks, and welcome to another episode of the Hungry Bleak Presents Comics Culture News. So this is a special episode. Also, later on today, you're going to get another special episode for us. So this is kind of like, like watching sitcoms in the 80s on a very special episode of the Hungry Bleak Show. We all remember that two-parter from a Different Strokes.
In the bathroom.
Look, the one from Different Strokes still petrifies me to this day. Let me tell you something. I'm not going to a bike shop. I'm telling you that right now. So, folks, there's a huge event. First off, excuse me. I am Antonio Pomares, aka the Hungry Bleak, and this gentleman right here is the purveyor of everything that is sci-fi, space, opera, all of the goings on in his neighborhood. Believe me, this man's superhero name would be Neighborhood Watch. I'm gonna be real with y'all.
No, that's what. No, my name would be watching this paranoid-ish come across my Ring feed, like just like.
Folks, this is Robert Jeffrey, writer, creator, incredible editor-in-chief, outstanding gentleman, and one of the most supportive people possible. Speaking of support, there's a great Kickstarter that is out right now. A huge, as a Colleen Douglas called it, a behemoth of a Kickstarter. The name of Epiphany Engine, this huge crossover event, which has like over 70 creators, I want to say.
Yeah.
And I mean, one of them just happens to be, this gentleman right here is actually a part of it. Can you tell us a bit about, for anyone who hasn't seen the interviews that I have, which you should actually go back and watch it. It's the Epiphany Engine playlist. You just go check that out. What can you tell us about your part with Epiphany Engine?
So I guess the main part is I'm one of the writers on the graphic novel and working on something that focuses on a member of the Macaulay family. So that the featured science fiction, sci-fi adventuring family that's at the heart of this larger story that's being told with Epiphany Engine. So I'm a writer, and I also Sean Anderson from Route 3 is one of the featured characters. That's that's being used or is a part of this the story. So. Writer and creator, I guess, or a contributing creator. This event is big. Like it's, kind of at the basic heart of it. There's it's a story of a group of I call them like scientific adventurers who are thrown into a conflict with a villain who I think is on some like destructive-ish, but there's a very personal story at the heart of this like large bombastic crossover event that we're telling. So it's like the main conflict is between this family and the main villain by the name of, and I always pronounce his name wrong. I think it's like Absalom, if I'm getting this right. Yeah, Absalom. I'm a better writer than I am a speaker, y'all. So people are like, I'm tired of that joke, Robert. And I was like, hey, this is what you get.
It's consistent, damn it. It's a consistent joke. It does not pull away.
My writing skills are on par with my horribleness when it comes to telling puns and jokes. So it's just like, they're both great in a good way, great in a bad way. But yeah, this is why they were like, Robert, don't do press. No, they didn't tell me that. It's like sit in the back and just type, but that's the core of the story. And then you're bringing in just this awesome library of characters from Black indie comics. We something I've never been a part of, as far as like kind of a huge crossover. So one of the things I've been telling people is like, we're used to crossover events throughout the year, but especially over the summer, because the summertime is like when your teen audience, the kids and teens are at home and when they reading comics like that, go to the comic book store and just partake in this event. And this is what we're bringing. It's like big summertime epic blockbuster storytelling with some heart, with some heart. So I was happy, to be a part of this. I hope my story is my contribution is up to par with what they were wanting and what prospective readers will want with something like this. But yeah, I'm definitely. I think it's something that comic book fans and just people who love good stories should take a chance to pledge to check out.
So speaking of pledges, let me bring up the excuse me, the page for Epiphany Engine. Now, I mean, the roster that Tony Kittrell has amassed
Yep.
is incredible, and some heavy hitters in the. I mean, people who I look at and I go, I've read your stuff. I read your stuff. I'm looking to see if there's anybody whose stuff I haven't read, and I think the only person who maybe I haven't read was Colleen Douglas.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, bet. So now you're on my list. And it's just incredible to see. What was your thought process when they asked you to be a part of this just phenomenal event?
Excited, excited, and a little daunting. I'll be as real as possible. It's a lot. There's a lot of and I'm being honest. Like this is not something that I would want to organize. Just like I do. That's once again I'm being as real as possible. But as far as from a creating and writing perspective, excited. It was a little daunting because when you look at the talent that's behind the scenes as far as with organizing, editing. I told you it's like you just mentioned Tony, our editors. As far as Joe Illidge, Brian Lambert, and Marcus Roberts. So you have talent there, and then you have like the writers. Greg Burnham, Colleen Douglas, Brian Hawkins, Alvin Ball. I'm forgetting names like
I've got like the list.
Brian Hawkins, John Jennings, like it's Lonzo
Yeah.
Starr, and it's just it's huge. It's a huge story. And then you look on the art side of things, and you start, at least for me, I'm just like, I want to make sure that whatever I get a chance to write, that it can play at that level, that we have for the artists. You want to bring your A game with whatever. For me, whatever project I get hired to do, I want to bring my A game. So whatever it is. And this is one of those projects where I wanted to do that. Also, shout out to John Scooter Robinson, also
Yes.
one of the writers. Go check out Scorpio, y'all. And also his podcast about writing comic books, but or writing just period. But excited and felt a little daunting, but did the job. Did the job, did the gig, and was happy with what I came up with. I was very, very happy, very excited with the script that I put together, and I know, like in general, for all of us, we all feel the same. At least like I said, I that's how I feel. Like I feel everybody's kind of contributing their A game, to this story. And you saw Pencils and Inks by Sean Hill.
Yes.
Shout out to my artistic brother from another mother. That's
I lingered on those pages on purpose.
Yeah, like Sean does nothing but like excel in life and his career, just like everything.
Yeah, for real.
I was happy to see that he was going to be a part of this, because like I said, we go back to Route 3, and it's great to see where he's at in his career. But for something like this, because of the epicness, but see, that's the thing. Like, I think all the artists are doing a good job, or will do a good job of kind of balancing that kind of heartfelt, serious story with this epic action, that you're gonna get. So, but yeah, exciting, a little daunting, but had to get the job done. It was a gig, and I was happy to get it. I was happy to, but also just to be a part of something like this was huge. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I was, when I heard about this, I was like, okay, cool, great. And then and speaking of Tony, I heard about the list again. That was just incredible. And seeing the page actually up and going on there and being able to like support, obviously, to put in was amazing. And then looking at all the different covers. I mean, because you've got like from Jamal Igle, obviously,
Yeah.
diabolical. And I mean, Marcus the Visual just doesn't play fair. This gentleman does not know how to play. Like, he,
Comes for
to
your neck.
me, if it was a wrestling match, I would like always check him to make sure he's not causing interference somewhere around the ring, because he's just incredibly just diabolical. The art is absurd, and this is the cover that I actually got, was the lady's first cover, because it's just incredible.
Awesome.
It's amazing. Yeah, and the list of people that were part of this as writers and artists is amazing, and the companies themselves. I mean, you have so many companies that are a part of this. You have like Advent, obviously, is from them, but then there was the list, and I mean, like you said, you got Four Wall Comics, you got Fourth Wall Productions, Amara, and World Design, which I love their work continuously. When I see their work on a comic, I know it's going to be incredible. What were you most excited about with working on Epiphany Engine?
So, because without giving away anything about the story, I think and this is with any project that I work on, getting a chance to play in like someone else's sandbox. I think that it's fun because you know me, like I hop around from genre to genre,
Yes.
and
Effortlessly, I might say, sir. Effortlessly. You
thank you, man.
amazing.
And there's fun in that. There's an excitement in that because I'm doing something new. But so with this, it's now going into it's this combination of like superhero fiction and then science fiction. And people will argue, well, sci-fi is a part of superhero fiction. I'm like, well, for the purposes of this conversation, let's just say it's something separate. so there's that combination within the story. Like, and you can get this from the summary of the story that's on the Kickstarter page. So, but also, like I said, being able to play within this new sandbox, because it's like the combination of existing characters and then also something new, with telling the story of the Macaulay family. So yeah, the genre meshing and just doing work, I guess playing with someone else's toys, that's always fun. And it's like, what can I bring to that? That I don't want to say that hasn't been done, because it makes me sound like, well, it's never been done, it's just, but why am I being brought onto the project? And being able to show that is something that I like to do. So those are kind of two big things, as far as at least on like the writing side of things, that I was trying to do with this, or at least that drew me in.
Now, I'm so glad to see Sean appear, because I knew about Sean before I knew about you. And I didn't realize that you were in the group that I had created on Facebook. And I was like, oh yeah, man, I get that. That comic is great. I love it. And it was, oh, well, and then I think somebody tagged you in it, and you're like, oh, thank you, man. I was like, yo, that comic is so dope. I love it. Sean is that character that I wish I had when I was a kid. So to see Sean play with all these other characters from all the books that I'll have, whether it's physical or in my tablet, is really impressive. Now, we have until, let me go back to date, I believe it was July 19th Yeah, so you have until July 19th to pledge for the comic. Like I said, an incredible story, a graphic novel. It just has this really like you were saying, like supernatural, sci-fi superhero kind of vibe to it. You have so many tiers where you're going to have great options to have where you can do digital. There will be different covers as well. There's a great wraparound cover from Chris Cross. Excuse me. But then you have covers from Eric Battle, who jeez, what the hell? It's like every time I look, I find a new name, and I'm like, damn, I didn't know you were part of this too.
Yeah.
Jesus.
There's
Cannon White. I didn't know Cannon White again. See, I didn't know Cannon White was a part of this. I've talked about Marcus the Visual, who that's the cover I got because I love that cover and it showcasing black women. I love that. Jamal Iggle, who's, I mean, just one of the iconic people in the game. Chris Mosby's. Damn, the hell, jeez. Okay, trying to compose myself. And yes, I can see why you would not. I want to say Absalom.
I don't know. I mean, I said before, I go my tired joke. I'm a better writer than a speaker. One thing that I did want to, before mentioning like how awesome the tiers were, to your point about Sean Anderson being like a part of this, I'm hyped. You know, I'm hyped because Sean has never been. You know, he's in any other. There's never been like he's only been in Route 3. So, it was. I'm excited to see how he's going to be involved within the story. So that, you know, but to that, so like, you know, that was, you know, my kind of, you know, my 2 cents about that. But yeah, I'm excited to see, you know, kind of what he contributes. And I know you were about to talk about the Martinez piece, you know, the tier 2, tier also.
I mean, again, one of my favorite artists. I love. She's one of the people that I geek out over.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I've seen her about 3 or 4 times at shows, I still geek out over her because it's like there are certain people that like I will become friends with, and it just becomes about not just about comics, but as an actual person. But she's still one of the people that I geek out. And I'm like, oh hi. She doesn't remember me. Obviously, she sees thousands, millions of people a year at different shows or what have you, and she's busy, got life. And every time I see her, I go, okay. And I have to like build courage to go over there because I love her work. I've loved her work since I was introduced to her through a Superb from Catalyst Prime.
Yeah.
And ever since I followed her work, it's awesome. But you have these incredible tiers. Obviously, there is a T-shirt. We all know how I feel about T-shirt. And there is a mug. So, I mean, that's a daily double for me, obviously.
There you go.
But then you have a book and a theme song as well. I love how music is being incorporated with comics lately. I think that's great. I know someone who's really been doing it a lot has been the Ray Comics. With their stuff is awesome. And to your point, I do love the fact of Sean again making an appearance outside of Route 1 and dealing with these characters who are also, you know, extraordinary, superpowered characters, daring dudes. Is there a possibility? I don't know if what happens like after this monumentous event. Is there a possibility that we will see more of some characters interacting beyond this?
I will always say never say no. You know, never say no. The thing with me with Route 3 is like I got to finish his first story arc. And that's a personal goal, you know, for me because hey, that's is, you know, as far as like, you know, his future for his story. But no, I definitely wouldn't be opposed to it. You know, just, you know, find the right story to tell, and a creative team, you know, to come together and be like, you know, let's try to make it work. I do think that, but it's as much as I love like a good kind of, and that's what I like about this, you know, as much as I like, what if, what if Vegeta saw the Joker on the street? It was like, you know, let's say if they fought. So, once again, that's why I'm horrible at those.
I never thought about that, but now I want to see it.
No, you don't want to. You really don't.
Oh no, I do.
You
I
really
do.
don't. You know,
Yes.
he's like Joker's gonna cackle him to death. But it it has to there has to be a good reason for this to happen. Not just like, and it's cool to see like folks scrapping in the street, as far as like these superheroes. But one of the things I like about Epiphany Engine, double E for all the cool folks, is the no, you didn't have to sign off on that. But one of the things I like about this is that there's a good reason for all of this to be happening, and it's not just like what if your hero just fought my hero, and that for me is like I like the fact that we're building a solid story. So if that happened with for that to happen with Sean Anderson in the world of Route 3, that would be my biggest thing. It has to make sense. It just we yeah, that's just it for me. And it's not a bad thing just to have heroes or villains just beat the f out of each other. But I personally, that's what I would want for Sean. If we were to kind of do that in the future.
Yeah, I totally agree that you want there to be a reason, because we've seen a lot of that where there's just that we fight, then we come together at the end. So yeah, for you, and storytelling has evolved since then quite a bit.
Yeah,
I mean, truthfully, thankfully to the indie community and the Black indie community especially, that storytelling has evolved in those years since. You can't just have something together and it's whatever. It has to be a reason, a basis. You have to build it there. So no, I totally I'm totally in concert with what you're saying there. Yeah, definitely. This is I hope this is an event that we maybe can see again, maybe a few years down the line, and get together the same people, possibly new people then, because you're going to be influencing another generation of creatives, writers, artists, inkers, letterers, editors, what have you. Everything that you all do, especially events like this, is going to impact that next generation, which I love. And that actually excites me. To see that, truthfully. So no matter what you all think you might be doing, and this is just a comic book, whatever. Yeah, well, your parents probably said the same thing when they were getting you just a comic, and look at what you and look at how it hit you. What do you want people to take away from Epiphany Engine?
I want them to have a good time with it. That may sound like a very simplistic answer, but it just like sometimes you need something to just get away, from what you're dealing with, whatever it is. And I find that like you don't want to escape too much because you still got to come back to reality, right? But
Bills, yes.
I think that getting something like this, which tells like an epic, heartfelt story, could do wonders for people who are just looking at escaping. On the creative front, I wanted to, just show that, these are the types of stories, like quality stories that we're telling on a regular basis in each of our different books or for each of our different characters, within the comic book industry. So this might be somebody's first foray into, Scorpio, or somebody from Route 3, Crescent City, that it just I wanted to, as we just from something we did, like grow the culture, yeah. So that's kind of that's what I want. Yeah, those two things, and I think people are going to be happy with kind of what we're bringing to the table. So
definitely, like I said, you have until July 19th to pledge, and you definitely should. There are so many great tiers, and if you don't see a tier that you like, what you can do is you can actually get that a tier that's close, and afterwards they'll have add-ons where you'll be able to add on to it. Now, I know pockets are tight. Everybody coming for you certain days of the month. Some people are telling you, that you owe them a little bit something. I understand that. When you pledge to a Kickstarter, the money is not taken out right then and there. The money is taken out on the final day. So if you pledge early, the money isn't taken out then. It doesn't come out until the final day and until the project is completely funded. So you do not have to worry about your pockets, okay? I know how it is. Life is lifing at times. Things happen. Sometimes it's your alternator. Sometimes your sink is messed up. Sometimes, like whatever it is. I understand that. So I always like people to know it does not come out the day that you pledge. It comes out on the very last day, and the project is completely funded. So don't worry about that. All right, one last question. This is a fun one.
Yeah.
All the characters that are there, who would you like to write? Who would you like to take on like a journey for like an issue, let's say?
God, man.
Let me start a fight.
Yeah, I mean,
no. It's hard to choose. I mean, because there's so many incredible characters there.
So let's say one that I haven't written is on here. Because I was about to lean towards, Autumn Fox, but shout out to Tony K. Yeah, I want to take the easy way out.
Although I would love another one and another one and another one of that. Just one of the great comic. Great.
It is coming. It is. That's the exclusive. I've been saying just today. I was looking at pages for it or reviewing pages for it. So yeah. That's the exclusive for this week, y'all. Run to the press, run to deadline.com. Dude, there's so much on here. I would love to do something with Wingless.
Yes.
I would love to do something from Newton's side of things. From Stranger Comics. It's a bunch. Those are and Fourth Wall, comics. Those are the ones that stand out, for me. Which aren't ones that I've already contributed to. So that, as far as like getting a chance to kind of work with characters, from their universes, those are ones that, looking at the list that kind of stand out. And no disservice to anybody else. Those are just because I think everybody on there is doing quality stuff.
Yes.
But those are ones that, kind of stand out to me. And fortunately, I've had opportunities to work with other creators on their stuff, and it's always a blessing. So because like I said, I know we particular about our ish, so that's it. So I get it. But yeah, those are ones, from the list that I would think that would be cool. That'd be awesome.
I would love to see you work on something with Wingless, because Wingless is, honestly, there's so many companies at this point, which I love. I love the fact that we went from, there's nothing here to, holy cow, there's this whole list, and I don't know who I would pick from. I love that. But I could definitely see you doing something with Wingless. Brian, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Slide up in his DMs for that.
So there's
just saying. Email the brother.
Email. Yeah, and Brian is he is a great. He runs a great company, but Brian is like one of the best editors that I've ever worked with. I'm just real talk, and the way his mind works when it comes to kind of building this universe, of Wingless or the books that he's building. I've been, I'm always a fan of that, but I would love to work with him as he's a great editor, and I don't think he gets his he probably gets a lot of love for it, but he deserves more love. He's a great editor.
So on that note, let's cross our fingers. Wingless Comics, Robert Jeffrey presents, and then whatever story it is. I'm just saying. So, folks, look, you have until July 19th. I definitely recommend. Y'all know I don't talk about a comic or a project unless I really believe in it and I think it's of quality and it's worth your time and money. Because if I'm putting my money down for it, definitely I know that you're going to want to get it. Epiphany Engine. Go check them out on Kickstarter. I'll have the link is in the episode description. July 19th is the deadline. Look at the incredible work, the roster that's there. It's like a murderer's row, heavy hitters in the industry. So many great tiers, incredible variant covers as well. This is something that you definitely need to go and look up. If not for yourself, do it for a loved one. You have a child, what have you. This is something that's going to be a really huge event, and I'm excited to have been a part of it in a very small way by talking to people about it. So there you go.
Now,
on that note, folks,
before we end,
yes,
you deserve your flowers. No, it's whatever. No. You've done a lot of heavy lifting with spreading the word about this, with the podcast interviews, and with spreading the word about the campaign, just period. So I wasn't about to let this interview. Oh my God! It's like this podcast end without saying that. So shout out to Antonio for doing all that he does on a regular basis, but specifically for this project. So.
All right, look, man. If y'all are putting out just great stuff, I'm gonna talk about it. That's if y'all had opened up a big pizza place, I'd be talking about it. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Which now that I have it in my head, I want that. I want simply people in a hot ass pizza place just making pizzas for no apparent reason. I love that. But no, so thank you so much. I truly appreciate it.
Yeah.
But truly thank you, and I'm very excited to read what you all have come together to give us this offering. It's going to be, and it's very exciting, and I'm happy for each and every one of you for being able to do this and to have fun with it. Yeah. Honestly. Okay. So folks, that's our show for today. We'll be back again later with we'll be talking about comic book news, comic culture news, things that are happening on. But as for today, you're getting a double dose. You're also later on today, there's going to be an interview with Big Phil. We're going to be talking about this incredible documentary film, Collections in Black. Mm-hmm. All right. So y'all have a very good day. Enjoy the rest of it. Drink water. It's hot out there, y'all. All right. Okay. And we'll see you later on. Peace.
Cool. Peace.